Good morning, Merry Christmas. I am so disappointed that I'm not there with you this morning. I hope you're all having an amazing time celebrating Christmas together. And I think this is the first time I've ever done a talk inspired by a pyjama top. Never mind done a talk wearing a pyjama top. I don't know if you've ever seen the film Elf. If you haven't, let me just fill you in a little bit to make all of this make sense. We've got this guy, blatantly human because he's human-sized and, he's human. But he grows up in the North Pole, believing he is an elf, hanging out with all the other elves, hanging out with Santa. And then he figures it out. He's human. And he goes off, he ends up in the regular world with human beings trying to find his human dad. And then he hears an announcement. Santa is coming to the shop that he is in. And his response is to get so excited. And I bet a lot of you here know what he says. He says, Santa! Oh my golly gosh. I know him. Santa, I know him. He is so excited in this space that's so unfamiliar to him, where he's finding things a little bit tricky and overwhelming. Santa is coming, and he gets so excited about that. Who are the people in your everyday life that you know? The people you do life with, maybe the people that you can say, I know them. Maybe it's your family, the people you live with. Maybe it's your friends, maybe it's people at school or work or your neighbours. Who are the people that you can say, I know them? And do you feel the same way about Jesus? Can you really say that about Jesus? Jesus, I know him. Buddy, the elf in the film, is so able to spot a fake Santa because he knows the real Santa so well, which does cause some issues when, there's fill-in Santas that they sometimes have in shops are there, and Buddy's like, that's not the real guy, that's not him. Are you the same with Jesus? Could you spot a fake a mile off? If someone said something about Jesus that wasn't true, or said that Jesus had said or done something that he hadn't said or done, would you know? Do you know Jesus that well? As a teenager, my friends had a bit of a phase of singing happy birthday in public places when it wasn't actually anyone they knew's birthday. They would just burst into song and encourage everybody to join in, and then when it got to the happy birthday dear so-and-so, they'd just stop and leave this beautiful awkward silence that, if things went according to plan, would leave some well-intentioned members of the public going, happy birthday dear, as they realise that they have no idea what's going on or who they're singing happy birthday to. Have you ever been in that situation? Maybe in certain slightly American-themed restaurants where people are singing happy birthday and you join in to be polite and then you're like, happy birthday! Or maybe at church when you haven't quite been concentrating, when we've been sharing family news and you're not quite sure who we're singing happy birthday to this week. So many people's Christmases are like that, aren't they? People are swept up in the celebrating, but they're not quite sure who they're celebrating or what they're celebrating. They're just celebrating. Our Bible reading this morning said, the Word became flesh and made his dwelling among us. We have seen his glory, the glory of the one and only Son, who came from the Father, full of grace and truth. How amazing is that? The Word became flesh. God himself came to earth as a human baby just so we could get to know him, just so that we could have relationship with him. Wow. Jesus' disciples got to hang out with Jesus on a day-to-day basis on earth, didn't they? They got to spend time with him, they got to know him, they got to see him do amazing things, and they also just get to have the normal chats with him, to hang out with him. And we don't get that same opportunity, do we? We don't get to hang out with Jesus as a human. But we do still get to hang out with him. We do still get to spend time with him, to talk to him, to hear from him, so that we could get to a point where we can say, we have seen his glory, the glory of the one and only Son who came from the Father, full of grace and truth. We can say we have spoken to Jesus, we have heard from Jesus, we know Jesus. I know it's a little bit early for New Year's resolutions. I know. Don't start talking about New Year, Karen. Just let us get Christmas done first. Shh. But maybe today you want to decide that by this time next year, you will know Jesus a little better. Maybe you're going to hang out with Jesus a little bit more over the next 12 months, whether that's coming to church more, maybe it's just making sure you listen and engage more when you're at church. Maybe it's praying more regularly or reading your Bible, or maybe it's that you're going to discover Christian radio or get a Bible reading app. If you're new to this whole idea of getting to know Jesus, there's some Gospels on the welcome desk. Feel free to take one away with you. Do chat to someone about ways that you can get to know him for yourself. But maybe for you, you want to decide that by this time next year, you can definitely say, Jesus is coming. He's my God. I know him. And just as a little bonus question for you, if you already know Jesus today, who are the people you're going to be hanging out with today or over the next few weeks, the people you're going to be spending time with and chatting to? Who are the ones that don't know Jesus? And could you share a little bit of him? Could you introduce him? Buddy the Elf was so excited to tell people that he knew Santa. Santa, I know him. Maybe because he thought he could introduce them. Maybe he could say, I remember mate, Santa. I know him. And you could know him too. Are you the same with Jesus? Maybe through you, people could get to know Jesus for themselves. Just imagine if by next Christmas, one of your friends or family members who doesn't know Jesus today is able to say, Jesus, I know him by next Christmas because of something that you've shared. Maybe it's just chucking into conversation what you've been doing this morning. You don't have to be weird about it. Just, share your day. You watch some weird woman in a pajama top chatting about Jesus. It starts a conversation. Jesus, I know him and I want to know him more. Do you? And do you want to help those around you get to know him too?